everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we have Hailie Deegan's race in the Truck Series at Martinsville and our Cup race in Dover, coming off of Talladega, where Joey Logano stole the victory from Matt DiBenedetto to get his first victory of the season to lock himself into the playoffs, now sitting second in the playoff standings with 6 playoff points behind first place of Kevin Harvick. So we were sitting kind of lower in the playoff bracket, which isn't great, but we're doing okay. But now we come to Hailie Deegan's race in Martinsville, and we had a best qualifying effort from her. She qualified P15, and I said I was going to make some improvements to this team because we want better results, obviously. So I decided to spend a little bit of extra money. I think we spent in overall almost $1 million extra to make this truck a more of a competitor. It's still not the best truck in the field, I can guarantee that, but throughout the race, Hailie Deegan actually started to work her way towards the top 10. Obviously, our team has not gotten a top 10 in the Truck Series at this point now. This is only, I think, race 3, though, of the season. Eventually, she was able to get her way up to P7 as she just continued to run her way towards the front, and eventually she was actually able to run all the way up into the top 5 after the whole restarts with stages kind of played out in her favor, as she was able to get into a top 5 position behind Stuart Friesen now on the last lap, as she tried to make a last moment move to the inside of Friesen. She kind of roughed him up a little bit coming out of turn 4 as they came to the line. She was fourth for a moment, but ended up getting P5, which would be the first top 10 and top 5 of Hailie Deegan's NASCAR Truck Series career, and our first top 5 for this team in the series. So it was a good result, and hopefully this is a sign of greater things to come for this team. Obviously, the first few races went really bad, kind of setting the team back in the point standings. You see sitting P20 in the point standings, so it's going to be a little bit of a climb to get into a playoff position, but hopefully we can get her a truck that's good enough to win races to where we won't have to worry about pointing our way in. But now this leads us into my Cup race at Dover, which is a race I was kind of looking forward to. I feel like we're going to have some rough races with this new AI here shortly. I know Kansas is going to be tough on us, but we come to qualifying, and I made it to the second round of qualifying, and the car was actually sticking to the bottom really well throughout the corners, so I was really excited to see what we could do. We came across the line and qualified pretty much about average of what I've been doing throughout the season. We qualified P15 for Dover, so let's see what we can do here in the race.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series rolls into Dover, Delaware for the running of the AAA 400 Drive for Autism. Dover International Speedway, also known as the Monster Mile, is a track with banking so high, drivers often call it a roller coaster ride. In 2017, Jimmy Johnson rode this roller coaster to his 11th checkered flag, extending his own track record for wins. He is clearly not intimidated by Miles the Monster. Can the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet do it again? Let's go trackside for the start of the race.
All right, there you have it. We are ready to go green. Kevin Harvick on the pole position. Joey Logano on the front row joining him. Daniel Suarez had to replace a transmission. That will start him in the back. That's the only driver sent to the back of the field today in Dover, and that makes us start on the outside now as we are ready to go green, and the green flag is out in Dover. We are underway from P14 behind the 2-car of Brad Keselowski in the Miller Lite Ford now as we cross the stripe to take the green flag as we go into turns 1. I'm not a fan of starting on the outside at Dover, but we're going to have to deal with it. I mean, it's probably going to happen multiple times in this race as Eric Jones tries to look to my inside and make it 3 wide already. Down the back straightaway, though, we were able to clear him as we went into turn 3, falling back to P15. Not too bad as we come out of turn 4 to complete lap 1. We get a big run down the straightaway, and that's really the only thing that this middle to outside line is good for at this track, is we can still get a pretty solid run on the outside alongside Ryan Blaney now down the straightaway. A very strong run as I turn into the wall. And I must point out, for these next handful of episodes, I have to drive on a controller because my throttle spring broke on my, obviously on my pedals. So we're going to be on a controller for the next couple episodes until I get a new set of pedals, because I decided to finally order some. but early on you can really see we're making the outside line work very well as we come alongside Ryan Newman, now approaching the outside of Eric Almirola as we come through turns 3 and 4 in the exit, pushing a little wide as we get into the wall just a little bit. It's not going to affect the car much at all, thankfully, but we were able to maintain no damage on the car. But yeah, the outside's working pretty well to where I was like, man, we might have a shot at a top 10 here. This is a track that usually I can run top 10, but with the AI change in career mode, it's hard to do. But we come to just a few laps later now behind Eric Almirola, still in the 10 car, trying to get P12 from him. As you see, a pretty big group of cars just up ahead, probably about 5th through 11th place, right in that bunch of cars. Logano leads that pack, and Johnson and Elliott at the very tail end of that pack. Now as we come down the straightaway, moment later, now behind Eric Almirola, trying to make a move, and we just could not quite do it now. As a few laps later, you're going to see Ryan Newman goes for a spin on lap 16, and around he goes into the inside wall, and that brought out our first caution of the race. So obviously that was not what I was hoping for. I was hoping we could keep it green to the end of the stage, but that's not going to be too much of an effect as we actually get to restart on the inside line now. So that's really going to help us, hopefully, now as we start behind Chase Elliott to get this race restarted. Green flag back out now in Dover. It's going to be 11 laps left in stage 1 as we cross the line alongside Ryan Blaney in the 12 car on my outside and AJ Allmendinger in the 47 right on my bumper now as we look under the 10 of Eric Almirola down the back straightaway side by side at his door, just about even as we go into turn 3. We should be able to get the edge on him, but I push up the track. I overshoot the bottom in turns 3 because I really haven't run the bottom in this race at this point. Other than riding right behind Eric Almirola, so that was kind of my first time going full speed into the corner on the inside line, so I overshot it, unfortunately. Now as we get under Brad Keselowski in the 2 cars, we come through into turns 3 under Kurt Busch. He's starting to fall back, and the inside line really works well on the restarts here, and it works well on the majority of tracks in this game as we make a little bit of contact with Kurt Busch down the straightaway, trying to get in to a top 10 position, but Kurt Busch is really not wanting to give up the position as we come out of turn 2. A little bit of contact again on my right rear with his left front, but we are able to clear the 41 for P10 as we go into turns 3. A little bit of a gap now between myself and Chase Elliott, as obviously they were able to pull away a little bit as he battles side by side with his Hendrick teammate Alex Bowman in the number 88 Nationwide Camaro. Now as he's stuck on the outside behind Denny Hamlin as they start to fall back. It seems early on the AI definitely cannot run the outside as well as we can as we come to lap 23. You see Bowman, he got to the bottom as Denny Hamlin, he's still on the outside as we get to his inside, trying to get P9 from him, but I got really tight in the center of the corner and I had to back out before we got to the exit, and it pretty much we maintained P10 throughout the rest of the stage as we come to just over 2 to go. Now 2 to go at the line in stage 1, all over Denny Hamlin's back bumper as we come into turns 1, trying to get to his bumper to maybe move him over just a little bit to get an extra point, but right now it does not look like we're going to be able to do that as we get a run down the straightaway going into turns 3, trying to make the outside work on him, but we're unsuccessful doing that this time. And you can see the tire wear is something we're definitely going to have to manage in this race, where it's a 29 lap dash in stage 1 and my tires, my right front tire specifically, is already about halfway worn, and a tire does not blow at 0% in this game. It blows like once you get like under 30%, you really start to feel it going down, and then like once you get under 20, the tire completely goes. So if we get under 30% wear in this race, we're in trouble as we cross the stripe to get P1 or P10 in stage 1 behind Denny Hamlin. So we get 1 point in the stage, not bad now, as we're gonna definitely obviously have to pit as Kevin Harvick gets a playoff point for the stage victory. And I decided we're going to take 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and I made a slight wedge adjustment. I just wasn't happy with how tight the car was, but I didn't want to go too far and make it too loose, and everyone took 4 tires, so that worked out in our favor as we go green to start stage 2 behind the 88 of Alex Bowman. Now across the stripe, it is a 27 lap stage now, 2 laps shorter than stage 1, as obviously restarting on the outside not going to play in my favor, as AJ Allmendinger already alongside me down the back straightaway trying to steal the 10th place position away from me. Now as Keselowski looks to my inside as well, as we just barely touch the 47 on the right rear and get alongside him going down the straightaway into turns 1. Trying to stay pretty tight on him through the corner, but I tried to turn down on him, and then at the back end just kind of kicked out a little bit as we make a bit of contact with the 2 car on the exit of 2 and almost get hit into the wall. But thankfully we hang on to it, and we do lose a few spots, unfortunately, from that. Casey Kane very close to running right into the side of him on the exit of 4 as we cross the stripe to lose another position down to P13. Casey Kane working his way through the field. It's kind of surprising to see him up this far. I'm not sure how he's managed to do that, but now as we come to lap 5 in stage 2, we did get alongside the 95 of Kane, but I see more contact going into turns 1, and that shoved us up the track, and he was able to clear me, and that was really the problem I was dealing with going into these corners. As AI, like you see with Trevor Bayne, they really don't enter right on the bottom. They kind of enter closer to the seam, and I'm expecting them to be right on the line, and that causes me to hit them and lose spots as we come down the back straightaway on lap 7 now behind Trevor Bayne. Sitting in P14, we get into the back of him in the corner now as we have trouble up ahead. We have a car smoking, and he's going to go up the track just in front of me, and we hit him, and up we go into the wall and over. And we're going to land on pit wall and drop all the way to P18, and the caution's going to come out, and that has completely changed our race. We have to pit immediately for repairs, and we come out all the way in the back in P38.
Drive safe and be smart.
I don't really know what to say about that one. Paul Menard must have blew an engine, and he went high, we went high, he crashed into the wall, and I couldn't go anywhere really. I tried to get down, but I didn't have enough time, obviously, as he just bounced off the wall into my path. But this is a major setback. We had, in my opinion, a top 10 car, and we just couldn't get into that position. Obviously, kind of restarting on the outside and stuff, but we're going to have to try to get a top 20 at least in this stage now as we get a little bit aggressive under the 96 and them, just trying to work our way as fast as we can through the field, giving Brendan Gaughan in the 62 a bump down the straightaway. I was actually trying to get under him, and I drove into the back of him instead. Now as we come through turns 1 on the exit of turn 2, getting up to P33 as we look to the inside of Brendan Gaughan down the straightaway into turns 3 behind Danica Patrick in the 7. Unfortunately, we have seen her car so many times in the last handful of races, and that's not a good thing. That means we're not doing very good, I guess, at points in this race as we work our way under the 8 of Daniel Hemrick, trying to get clear of him out of turn 2, and we do get clear of him as we try to look to the outside of Danica Patrick down the straightaway. We're going to fill that gap that she left between herself and the wall now through turns 3 and 4 alongside her. Now as we exit turn 4, a big run on the back of Matt DiBenedetto. We look to his outside as we come across the line, and we're going to work our way into the top 30 finally, now up to P29 to be exact, as the 2 JGR cars of Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez battle side by side, both of them not having a very good race. Now as we force it 3 wide under Suarez and Jones into turns 3 behind Ryan Newman, who brought out a caution earlier in stage 1 on lap 16, but they spin in turns 1 and 2, and now he's obviously slowly rebounding as we look to his inside, but he makes sure that we are not able to get to the bottom of him, and that halts our progress for the moment as we try to maybe look somewhere on the exit of 2. I didn't know where Newman was going to go, but we finally got to his outside as I tagged the wall just a little bit. Now as we come in through turns 3 and 4, we should be able to gain a few more spots out of this now with just 12 laps to go in stage 2 at this point. We're up to P27 as we follow the 19 of Daniel Suarez around the outside as he continues to work his way forwards as well. He now clears the 37 of Chris Buescher for P24 as we're trying to follow suit alongside Buescher now through turns 3 and 4. We were able to get past him, and we didn't really gain anything else after that as we hit the apron. Now this is lap 25 of 27 in stage 2. Me and Suarez, though, have run down the 13 and the 34 of Ty Dillon and Michael McDowell as Suarez tries to look to the outside of Dillon as we come out of turn 4. It will be 2 laps to go in stage 2 with a big run down the straightaways. We look to the inside of Suarez as we go through turns 1. We should be able to gain the position now on him as we exit turn 2. A little bit of a wide exit. We make contact with Suarez with the right rear, but we do hang on to the car down the back straightaway. Another position for us up to P23, and it's looking like we're not going to get a top 20 in this stage, but if we can get up to 21st, that will at least be pretty decent as we come across the line to hit the white flag in stage 2 alongside Ty Dillon in the 13 into turns 1, trying to get alongside McDowell on the exit of 2. 2 as he is going to leave a space, but we get into the back of him, and that's going to really slow our momentum as we come into turns 3, and we're definitely not going to be able to get the position on him as the stage ends early. Obviously 10th place across the line, and it gets called there, and we lost the spot to Ty Dillon as well to get P23, unfortunately, in stage 2. And your stage winner, once again, is Kevin Harvick, and we decided 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel is going to do it. We didn't make any wedge adjustments this time. I felt like we had a car that was pretty good, but I'm not sure how this last stage is going to go based on the tire wear. I think we might have some problems towards the end of the stage. We're going to have to hope for a long green flag run. If we have a caution at the end of this race, we might have a slight problem as we are underway now. 38 laps to go in the last stage of Dover. Suarez cleared me on the restart. I really screwed up my shifting on several times in this race, actually, on restarts, and this was really the worst one as Suarez was able to drive right by me. As we get into the back of him going into turn 3, now what I wanted to do is we force the 3 wide on the inside of him and Ty Dillon as we push up the track just a little bit, but Suarez, he's cleared me. He really does seem to have a much stronger car than what he's running. He's running what P20 run right now, and he really should be, I think, a top 10 car, just like we should be now as we come down the back straightaway, trying to force the 3 wide under McDowell and Suarez as we come into turn 3. And once again, I overshoot the bottom of the corner, but thankfully we hang on to the car and gain 2 spots out of it as we now come along the inside of AJ Allmendinger, crossing the stripe for 36 to go. As Allmendinger, he must have thought he was clear, and he tried to close the gap, but it did not work out for him as we have a big run on our teammate McMurray. We get alongside him down the back straightaway now, gaining several positions on this restart. The inside is so much overpowered compared to the outside on these restarts now as we pass Eric Almirola now for P18, kind of chopping him down the straightaway, but at least we gained the position now up to 18th behind 17th place Ryan Blaney in the 12 car as we come out of turn 2, getting into the back of him. He's kind of running behind Kurt Busch, who's all in a little bit of a train right now as we look to the inside of Blaney. Finally into turn 3, we should be able to gain the spot from him as well on the exit of 4. He does hang alongside for the moment, but Kurt Busch we're not going to be able to get to the inside of him. He has too much of a gap, so now we just focus on clearing the 12, and that is exactly what we do now as we exit turn 2 down the back straightaway. Everyone's just running in a single file train right here, which is kind of odd. There's maybe one car that was looking to the outside, but eventually we were able to work our way up to P13 behind 12th place Trevor Bayne, and last time I was behind Trevor Bayne we ended up flipping over, so this might not be a very good sign as we get to his back bumper. Now Ryan Blaney behind me, he was also started to work his way back forward with 25 to go this time at the line. So everything's winding down now as we get into the back of Bayne, and we really could be way further ahead if we could get past the 6 car, but everyone, just like I said earlier, was running in a train, and it was very hard to gain time. Now on the exit of turn 2, about a lap later behind Trevor Bayne, once again still struggling to get past him as we have just 25 laps to go in this race, running out of time to get a top 10 pretty quick. Now at a turn 4, right on his back bumper, a chance to make a move as we look to the inside for a moment as we come into turns 1, finally to the inside of Trevor Bayne with a chance to get up to P12 and maybe catch the guys in front of us as we come out of turn 2, clear of Bayne for P12 down the back straightaways to come to turns 3 now with Blaney taking the position, and now we get a caution at the wrong time. We finally get up to P12, and now we're going to be restarting on the outside line. And man, we just could not get in the right line on these restarts, and this is going to suck because we're going to drop some positions now as the green flag is back out with just 21 laps to go. Once we hit the line behind 10th place of Casey Kane, who's had a solid run all race, and he is just doing a great job now as we come through turns 1 and 2. Dropping a few spots down now. Blaney looks to our inside as I try to clear myself going into turn 3, but it does not work as we shoot up the track in the center of the corner, and that allows Trevor Bayne to my inside as we drop a handful of positions down to P15 alongside the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as we go into turns 1 now, really struggling with this outside line restart late in the race at a terrible time as our teammate Jamie McMurray looks to my inside down the back straightaway as we hit the bumper of the 17, losing a little bit more momentum once again, unfortunately, as we get cleared by our teammate in turns 3 and finally clear to run the inside line if we want want to, but now we're into the run where I don't even really need to run the bottom to gain time. It's just on the restarts we need to be on the bottom, but unfortunately we just cannot make it happen. Now as we get to the inside of Casey Gain, who is now starting to fall back, and obviously he must be thrilled that we got that caution, considering how this restart has gone for him as he drifts back to P16 as we once again enter the top 15, looking under Ricky Stenhouse Jr. going into turn 1. Just 18 laps remain in this race, and once again we slowly start working our way forwards. Unfortunately, it's looking like it might be a little bit late now as we come to lap 89. You see Casey Kane was able to get back past me, but we was still in the top 15, so that's good at least, as we just kind of made a mistake and allowed the 95 to go by. And you notice there, my right front tire is into the low 50s on wear, so we might have a slight issue in this race because the tires are wearing fast. We just got to hope that we can hang on. Now at a turn 4, Kyle Busch drifts back to P14, 10 to go at the line as we continued along in this position throughout the race up to P14. Now as up ahead we have smoke from a car up ahead, and we're going to dive to the bottom, a big checkup, and we're going to go all the way from P14 up to P4 as Alex Bowman must have blown an engine down the straightaway as we gain 10 positions late in this race on lap 97. A big turn of events late in this race, allowing me to get up to P4 with maybe a top 5 finish, where we have had a top 10 car all race but just haven't been able to get in to the position due to lines on the restart and Paul Menard crashing in front of me as we cross the stripe to hit 3 to go. And I know my right front tire is going away in this race, so I know that these guys behind me are going to run me down within the next lap or so, as Logano leads about 3 or 4 cars, very hungry to run me down. As you see, the right front tire is at 37%. We just need to make it to the finish here as long as we don't get a caution as we cross the line. Now into turn 1 with just 2 laps to go, I could really start to feel the right front tire going down as we come out of turns 2, really having to get out of the throttle, still getting into the wall. That allows Joey Logano in the 22 to get to my back bumper as we go into turns 3, and I decided it's not even worth trying to hold them up. As we come to the white flag, we allow them to go by now alongside all of these group of cars, including our teammate Jamie McMurray, as we go into turns 1 and 2 as McMurray clears me for P7. Now we drop to P8 down the straightaway behind our teammate coming to the checkered flag this time by as we come into turns 3 and 4, and we get a caution. Clint Boyer must be the reason up ahead as he is coming to pit road, and this is not good. We're going to be restarting on the inside actually this time because Clint Boyer is pitting, but we have a tire going down and we did not need 2 extra laps, and this might jeopardize our top 10. And we thought we had it, and now we might be in trouble as the green flag is coming out. Overtime is underway, 2 laps to go in Dover as we get into the back of the 18, trying to give him a shove as we cross the stripe. 2 laps to go now in Dover behind the 18 as Kevin Harvick leads us into turns 1 and 2. He has dominated this race, and right off the bat I feel the tire going down as we get forced 3 wide. I cannot do anything as we make contact with the 48, but hang on to the cars. We go into turn 3. I'm backing out of it early because I know we got a major issue with the tire. Now losing positions outside of the top 10, unfortunately, as we cross the line now to take the white flag in Dover alongside the 2 car of Keselowski. Now as we have to let him clear me as I cannot keep the car turned as we come out of turn 2. Down the back straightaway here, we're going to be alongside Stenhouse going down the back straightaway into turns 3 for the final time, and this is where I really felt the tire really give way as we go way wide in the corner. As we come out of turn 4, we're going to get into the wall a little bit, and that's going to make me lose a few more spots as we come across the line to finish in the 20th position, unfortunately, in Dover. What a big turn of events we had in this race. We went from running close to the top 10, getting destroyed by Paul Menard, to rallying our way back up into the top 15, and it looks like we were going to finish just outside the top 10, to Alex Bowman blowing an engine, making it look like we're going to get a top 5, to a caution, forcing overtime, to now finishing in 20th. Like, that was not what we expected at all, and that was not a good finish for us in points. We did not get any stage points, and we almost made up for it with a 4th place finish, and everything went downhill within the last few laps, and obviously the tire going down did not help in the end. But very unfortunate finish here in Dover. I know next time we come here we can run much better, I hope, but obviously this time around it didn't work out.
Don't worry about the last race. Stay positive. Everybody has a bad one. Let's focus on what we've got to do to get better.
Wise words you hear from Ray Evernham.
Hey, you're all over the place. Unless you like being hated, you need to calm down out there.
You need to calm down at Daytona when you wreck everybody, like half the field. But thank you for the kind words, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And that'll do it for this episode. Next episode, we're going to have the truck race in Dover for Haley Deegan's performance. We're going to see how she did. And we're going to have our cup race in Kansas, which is a track I'm not really sure how it's going to go. And we had some team contract things. I didn't really do anything for trucks, obviously, and I still see we have a 4-star offer only because we're not in the top 10 in the playoff standings. So I decided maybe we should just choose a 4-star team. So I decided to choose Wood Brothers Racing. Eventually, I kind of backed out of it. I didn't want to do it, but then we went back in, and yeah, we decided to contact Wood Brothers Racing for a future opportunity. But that will do it for this episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. We'll check the point standings real quick. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. Especially a subscription would be more appreciated than you think. And it would do a lot more than you think it would. So thank you guys for taking your time of the day to watch one of my videos. And I will see you guys in the next episode for the truck race at Dover and our Kansas race for the Cup Series. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.